Got the in-state battle in the Big Ten, Michigan State and Michigan. Next up here, Michigan, 22-point home favorites in Ann Arbor at the Big House. This is a night game, by the way, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. 54.5 the total in this game. Michigan State and Michigan both off bye weeks. They did not play over the weekend, so there's no real advantage either way. I'll say this. Michigan State looked like their season was just going off the cliff, right? Everything falling apart. Blown out by Washington. Blown out by Minnesota. Blown out by Maryland, blown out by Ohio State. It's like, man, this is just falling apart for Mel Tucker and his team. But then they rallied the troops, and they beat Wisconsin 34-28 in overtime, the game before their bye week. And I will tell you this right now, even with a disappointing 3-4 season, Michigan State could still get to 6 wins. That's what you got to try to aim for if you're the Spartans, and get a bowl game. And I guarantee you, this is their national championship game. This game right here. Playing Michigan. So off a bye week, you were looking for signs of life from Michigan State. They showed it in the win against Wisconsin. Whatever best effort and most, utmost performance level and effort level you're going to get from Michigan State, you're going to get it here in this game against Michigan. Now, the question is it going to be enough against this Wolverines team that just continues to really be impressive? The 41-17 shellacking against Penn State was really, really a terrific performance. Both sides of the football, they bottled up the Penn State offense, forced Sean Clifford into a really tough day, 7 of 19, 120 yards, and Drew Alar had to finish that game. It wasn't much better for him. They contained Nick Singleton in the run game, 19 yards. I mean, it's not going to be easy, for the Michigan State offense here, which has not nearly been as good without Kenneth Walker, who we just saw just dominate again in the NFL with the Seattle Seahawks yesterday. Great performance from him, but obviously it's not been the same offense. Peyton Thorne has kind of struggled a little bit more this year. But I'll tell you what, look at the last 2 head-to-head meetings, and it's almost like with this rivalry, throw the records out, throw out what's going on. Michigan State gives Michigan a tough game. In fact, Michigan State, they've won 2 in a row head-to-head against Michigan, 27-24 2 years ago as 21.5-point dogs. Michigan State won that game outright. And then last year, 4-point dogs, Michigan State got them again, 37-33. So, yeah, Michigan wants to obviously erase the memories of those 2 games, but they have not shown any sort of ability here, other than 2019 where Michigan got a 44-10 win. And then you go before that, 2018, it was 21-7 Michigan. Then we had 14-10 Michigan State. We had 32-23 Michigan. The bottom line is there's not many pieces of evidence that Michigan's beating this team by more than 3 touchdowns the last 10 years that this rivalry has taken place. It's got me leaning to Sparty, honestly, as a very big underdog here in this game. What do you think here, Conor? Michigan State, Michigan.
We'll see what they can do. The biggest thing I see is I think Michigan can run it on them. And the biggest problem is now Michigan State can't run it. 125th in the country. I mean, that means Peyton Thorne has got to throw it basically and have success. So if he can do that, they're in this one. Because if not, I think they get bottled up. They've looked a little bit better the last few weeks. I don't know how much to put into that. They put 20 on Ohio State and then they beat Wisconsin. So they seem to be getting a little bit better. But me, I don't want anything to do with this game. If give me a free bet, I take the points, but I want nothing with these Michigan schools. 0 pass.
Yeah, and what does concern me about this game, and it's why, I haven't made up my mind if I'm going to take Michigan State. If I do bet the game, it's Michigan State. But why I might stay off the underdog here is the run defense, which actually started out the season being better than the pass defense for Michigan State. It's not been as good lately. If you look at their full season numbers, Michigan State's run defense has given up 4 yards per carry, 153 per game on the ground. The last 3 games, those numbers have gone up to 4.7 yards per carry allowed, 188 rushing yards per game allowed. So the Michigan State run defense has gotten a little bit worse. And man, that's not what you want. That's not the kind of run defense. You don't want to see your run defense trending in that direction when you're playing Michigan and Blake Corum. That is for sure. So interesting matchup. But again, this series history, there hasn't been many wins by this kind of point spread margin for Michigan.